So what we just saw was nothing short of incredible. What was the volume again? Is it 6,000 total?
5,000 gallons, so 20 cubic meters.
And also, amazingly, the filtration in there was tiny by normal standards, I'd say, for a tank that size.
Absolutely.
But they've done just such an awesome job packing in an amazing amount of filtration by Jan, pumps by us, of course. That whole thing packs a punch. The corals were beautiful. There's certainly no issues in there, and they're firing in tons of food. I thought it was quite interesting where we were, who the house was for, which I'm not allowed to tell you, I don't think.
No, we're not allowed to tell that.
And we weren't allowed to stand on the carpet either. It was quite an incredible place, and obviously this is just their house for when they're in town. Different world, and a very beautiful one at that.
Now we're on a schedule, literally. We have to get going, so that's why we just got on the I-95 again, and we'll be trying to get to Frost, right?
Yeah, Miami Frost, see the guys down there in their new facility. That'll be pretty exciting. Cool, let's see what we can find.
So all of our Indo-Pacific, our non-native corals are in this glass tank and these 4 troughs that are up here.
Okay, cool.
So we're going to see a 12,000 gallon reef tank in just a little bit, and you'll see most of these colonies represented in there. That way, if something happens in there, we don't lose all of our colonies.
So this was the coral lab for all these pillar corals and some others that well, everybody's trying to save, and they're technically extinct. They don't have that genetic amount so they can have a healthy population. But luckily some people are working and trying to save these species, and that's basically what's going on here.
Right, boys and girls, we have just been to the Frost Science Museum. Really, really cool aquarium. And I need to get a thesaurus, because I know I keep giving you the same words of how amazing things are, but these aquariums are huge and they are really, truly incredible. It's, how many times have you been there?
This was the 3rd time now. Back in the days when Zach Ransom was there, then I visited when Bailey was there, and now we came back and met with Aaron, who's responsible for all the animals in the collection. We had a good chat at Raw earlier last week, and he said, well, come over. We're having a little project ongoing, and that's about a tidal tank that's just right now being constructed. Yeah, that's a super interesting thing. So basically the water level changes roughly 30 centimeters, 10 to 12 inches over the time span of a couple of hours. So yeah, I think that will be an amazing display.
Yeah.
And they're using one of our pumps for that. So yeah, it looks great.
I guess they're going to be using the wave mode on that, just on the minimum setting, and then changing it to the maximum when they need it. Yeah, that's cool.
But also we've seen the lab where they now do a lot of the coral conservation.
Yeah.
And, we're going to see more of those hopefully when we get to the Tampa facility. Today we just need to get to our hotel, and then tomorrow morning we'll have another probably amazing visit. Just the setting in which all this aquarium is taking place.
Just unreal.
The views, out when you walk out and you just stand there on the 4th floor or 5th floor,
looking across Miami, and
it is amazing.
Well, it's a bit bumpy here.
And of course we had the best weather possible, so it was just bright blue skies. And then we made it like after an hour of really heavy traffic, and now we're on the way to the Keys. We're gonna go down to Key West, go back up, and then we're gonna probably stay overnight somewhere near Key Largo or maybe Hampstead, and then we'll cross Florida through the Everglades, basically.
It's going to be cool.
Hopefully we'll get to see some of the nature that is really interesting there. We're taking some time, so we can hopefully put in some nice walks through the through the Everglades.
Alligator Alcatraz as well, I think, is along the way somewhere.
Yeah, well, we'll see whether we get to check that out. And then after that, we're going to be in Sarasota to have a closer look at the new Moat Marine Laboratory, which has just opened, I think, end of last year after a giant construction. I saw the construction site when I was here 2 years ago. It's supposed to be an amazing place, so we're going to meet with some people over there and get a good walkthrough. If we can make that happen, we're also going to go to the Florida Aquarium in Tampa, and then we're going to meet with Chris from ACI Aquaculture, who has a fantastic coral farm, well known, and then we'll be flying out.
It's been a lot of fun so far, and hopefully we'll get a bit more out of the last few days. Hopefully it's been enjoyable for you so far as well.
All right. I guess we'll see you tomorrow.
See you in a bit. Hey everyone, we're here at Aquarium Encounters. This is a really cool place. I hear they've got isopods as well, so I'm kind of hoping we're going to get to see them and a whole host of other stuff. And we're going to be with Ben, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about it. So let's go. Hey Ben, good to see you again.
Good morning, how you doing? This is Lola. She's our guard dog, as you might expect. Vicious as she is. She'll attend us on the tour.
Hello. How are we doing? What can you tell us about Aquarium Encounters? What have you got here?
Aquarium Encounters is something we developed about 12 years ago, and it's a fully interactive aquarium, and it's something that we've kind of designed from the ground up. Everything that you see here was either an idea that we had or a copy of somebody's idea that we've tried to make some little improvements on.
Okay, cool.
Lots of touch tanks, lots of interactive swims and experiences, and so we'll go check some of those out.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's go have a look. This is some of your classic catching equipment.
Yeah, right. The History of Dive Museum is in the Upper Keys, and they shared this with us. It's you know, some of the historical suits. I would hate to have to catch a fish in equipment like that, I can tell you. We'll go down here and look at the kind of natural canal system that was built in the 1950s. I have some cool photographs from the 1950s, 60s, and 70s of this property. And in the 50s, there wasn't one tree on the property.
These are some hungry looking parrotfish.
Yeah, so rainbow parrots. These are kind of like our saltwater koi. And then you see some tarpon out there a little further.
Yeah, yeah.
We've got barracudas in here. We've got a really big houndfish. We've got some Goliath groupers, all kinds of critters in here. So there's opportunities to feed these guys too. So.
Oh, cool. So I'm a big koi fan. Don't fall in, Alex.
Yeah.
And I would much rather these in my pond than some koi. Look at that guy. He's incredible.
Yeah, they're beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah, really awesome. These are a native species, right?
They are, correct. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So everything you have here
everything here is native to Florida waters, basically. So
awesome.
Yeah. We had to excavate about 2,000 cubic meters of mud out of the bottom of this to make it livable again by animals. So when we got here, basically very low DO, very poor water quality. So we've improved on all of that water quality to make this a functional kind of ecosystem. There was something called the undersea circus here, and it was the idea of building an aquarium. So we ultimately repurposed this property right back to its original purpose. As I understand it, it lasted from 54 to 57, so just a few years. But the Florida Keys back in the 50s, I have a friend here that grew up back then. He said you could play an entire game of baseball in US 1 and never have to brake for a car coming through, to give you an idea the difference.
Wow.
Of
the tourism didn't really kick off down here?
Not until about the mid-80s. So it was a commercial fishing kind of chain of islands. In the mid-80s, that switched over to tourism, and now it's 85% of our economy is tourism here in the Florida Keys. And we see between 3 and 5 million people a year.
Wow.
This is where we have several of our touch tanks. So we'll start over here. This is our stingray touch tank, and we've got two different species of rays in here. You've got the cow-nose ray, which is the diamond-shaped ray, and the southern ray, which are the big ones on the bottom.
Very cool. Okay,
and we
cool.
can feed these guys as well, which we'll do later. And then we do an encounter with them where you can actually get in the tank with them and sit down and have them swim into your lap.
Nice.
So a couple of different experience levels. It's pretty unique. So this is a unique tank that you won't find anywhere else. This is a lobster tank where we have our Florida lobsters. They don't have claws like the Maine lobster, but we allow you to feed these lobsters, and you can see a couple of them around in the tank system. This is the most important commercial fishery that we have in the Florida Keys. We take about 5 million pounds of these lobsters out of the Keys water each and every year.
Wow.
And they've been doing that since really about the 50s or the 60s. So it's a very sustainable fishery that has lasted for that long without overfishing.
So is there any aquaculture efforts with these where they catch the females and take the eggs out?
They have completed the life cycle on the lobster. There's a very long larval cycle. It's somewhere between 120 and 180 days.
Wow.
And there's like 17 different metamorphisms before that larval sets out. So at any point in that, you get any kind of disruption. And so they're very difficult to do. It has been done successfully, but apparently it's not a viable way to do it on a cost-effective basis at this point.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then we also have one of my favorite delicacies, which is the stone crab. Stone crabs are also probably the second most valuable commercial fishery, and both of these are predominantly caught with traps. This is our nursery tank, and so we have baby cow-nose rays that were born in our facility.
They are cute. Look at those.
As well as other smaller species. So if you look buried into the sand there, you can see 4 of them right there. Those are yellow rays, and up top is an Atlantic ray right there. So just smaller species that wouldn't do well with the big cow noses and the big southerns.
I got you.
So the cow noses were born here. The yellow rays are full grown, they're wild caught, but we do occasionally have our nursery tank where our little yellow rays, we'll have little yellow rays in there. We don't have any currently right now. So these are our nurse sharks. We've also got a great big Kubera snapper in here, which is kind of a cool species. You don't see too many of those.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen one of them before. He's got some nice teeth on
Some
him.
gnarly teeth on them.
Yeah.
A beautiful queen angel coming across the front of the... So this is a unique, really cool experience that we do here that I'll show you. This might be worth doing if you guys want to do it. We can do it at 11. Yeah, we bring our guest up here, and they actually call a shark up with a different rattle. Each rattle has its own sound, and each target has its own shapes and colors. And we bring the animal to target, and then we positively reinforce that animal. So it's a little bit like dog training or dolphin training, marine mammal training. It's those same concepts. And so we allow the guests to actually do the feeds. So they put the fish on the end, and the animal then eats from the target. And then we do some interactions with the guests where they get to actually kind of feel their skin and understand the dermal denticles associated with sharks and how it feels like sandpaper. We have desensitized them to where you can actually roll them over and you can see the counter shading. And so the nurse shark is such a great species for that because they're able to lay and breathe. They have the musculature to pull water through their gills and over their gills. So I think we should try and do one of these later today, one of these experiences, if you guys have some time. So we have 2 invertebrate touch tanks. Mostly the same species in both tanks. We just have a lower version for the little guests, and then for adults and high school kids and stuff like that, we have the higher level. But this is a
cool
Bahamian sea star, and this is a protected species here. We have, of course, horseshoe crabs that are amazing animals that have been around forever.
Yeah, they are essentially
Dinosaurs, yeah. And then this is also a protected species. This is a queen conch. So when you eat conch fritters, this would be the animal that you eat. But here they're protected, so they come from the Bahamas or Turks and Caicos and those sorts of places. So.
Are they aquacultured for the ones that you'd find in a restaurant, or are they?
No, mostly they're still wild. They're still wild. They are aquaculturing them in different places, but I don't think they're scaling it to a level yet that, once again, is feasible. So there's another queen conch, and that one's not mature yet because its lip isn't rolled out, right? So they call that a roller.
Yeah.
And then where the lip comes out, that is a mature conch. It won't grow any further.
I see. Yeah. Okay, mate.
It won't grow any further?
Nope, it'll make us a longer lip a little bit, but
Okay.
once it lips out, it won't go around. And you can see these guys, they kind of have a spiral that goes around and grows. So as when they start tiny, they just keep going around and around and around. And when they get to terminal size, mature size, that lip starts to form out. A mature one is probably about 7 years old. I don't know for sure, but I think they live to be about 15. It's literally, we go a mile down the road and we pick out something that we really think would be amazing for people to learn about and bring it over here.
So we've only seen a little bit so far, but this is really one of those places where the kids actually get to see the animals and interact with them and learn something, because you know, a lot of aquariums, they can run around and they never really take much attention to look deep into the tank and see what's there like you and I might do. But yeah, I think this is a really cool opportunity. And was that the whole point of getting in tanks like this?
It really was. The idea of having a totally immersive aquarium, I mentioned that at the beginning, where you can get your hands wet like we've been doing, and certainly where you can interact with the animals. My feeling is that the more senses that you can use, the deeper the learning experience will be. The deeper that learning experience is, the longer you'll take that appreciation of what you've learned with you through life.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we want to have our guests come and understand to respect the ecosystem and nature and learn about what there is out there that needs to be protected and conserved. And so, you know, almost in every one of our tanks, you can either get your hands wet, you can feed the animals, you can get in and interact with the animals. And it's one thing if you get to touch an animal or view it like you do in most aquariums, but if you can actually get in that environment, and especially if you're not a snorkeler, but you get in and snorkel and you're in the water with them and they're at 360 degrees around you, it's an amazing experience that people take. It's the highlight of their vacation many times. It's really great.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, you know, I know for my kids, they're 4 and 6, you know, this would blow their minds. We've been fortunate enough to go to quite a few aquariums with the kids so far. But yeah, I think this is one that would really stick in their minds.
Yeah, it's a family-oriented place for sure, from the little ones all the way up to teenagers and adults like me and you. Yeah. So, really great. So this is a shark tooth sandbox. We get prehistoric shark teeth, and then every day we put a few shark teeth in there and let the kids come in and pick them out and take a couple of them home.
Yeah,
so,
awesome.
And they got a little ID thing. So it's just a fun little free thing for them to do. And once again, they get to take that keepsake with them. And
yeah, that's cool.
It's a nice thing to remember the aquarium. So.
I know my little guys would love that.
Yeah. So we'll head out here to Vaca Cut. This is actually Mother Nature, the open ocean. If you go under the bridge, you're going to the Atlantic Ocean. And if you go up to the north, you're in the Gulf of Mexico and the Florida Bay.
So do you have a lot of local fish coming by to get fed? They sort of learn where they...
We do. Every day we'll do a feed out here and a presentation to talk about the different animals that you see, and we'll put some chum in the water, let people kind of see what comes around, and it can be anything different and anything new every day. So often some snappers, some parrotfish, nurse sharks are all pretty common visitors to the feed. So
you almost
place to live and work in.
yeah, right. It's almost like you don't need an aquarium.
Yeah, one of the many presentations we do all day, we're feeding the bonnethead sharks that we have here, the smallest cousin in the hammerhead family.
Females in here. A unique thing about the male bonnethead shark is they do have a slight difference in the shape of their head. Only shark species have a physical difference like that, aside from size, which is typical. The males have a slightly more bulge to the very top of their head, which can make it appear slightly more triangular than these females.
About every hour, 45 minutes, we're doing some kind of educational tour as part of your entry fee, where you will get to learn about the different animals that we have.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that adds to it. And then these are all the different options that you have to feed different things at the aquarium here. So we're gonna go feed tarpon right now. So we've got some tarpon food. We're gonna go give that a shot, see what happens.
All right.
So we've got a lot of jacks, Crevel jacks down here right now, so they're probably gonna be the most ferocious. And we'll see if we can get any of the big tarpon to come this way. We've also got some parrotfish in here.
I'm going to give the parrotfish one because they look cool.
Good look.
But they will. The
The jacks might have a different plan for you.
yeah. Right, waiting for a tarpon. So obviously we can see straight out to the bay out there.
Correct,
So
right.
how much do you physically push water through, or are you just relying on natural exchange?
Mostly,
helping out?
it's predominantly the tide. It's very tidal here, so we
Yeah.
get tide through the mangroves, and up and down in our. Ooh,
They are so fast.
take a finger off.
So what's the tidal range? Is it? Because it doesn't look like it'd be particularly high. But
No, it's about a half a meter.
Okay.
So yeah, from high to low, so it's not too much.
thanks for the metric there.
Yeah, I like to know your audience. You
I
know?
noticed earlier you were talking in cubic meters of
Yeah, right. Yeah.
dirt.
No tuppence today.
Boom.
They are fast.
Yeah, it's just milliseconds.
Yeah.
Walk around with that fish you got to pay.
Ooh.
So you can throw on the barracuda. That'll be.
You ready?
Oh, wait. We try to catch them with the light.
Yeah,
should be good.
And you got two other ones over there if you want to give it a. Ooh.
One more, boys. Here we go. Oh, come on.
Anticlimactic.
Yeah. Even the
So-
parrots don't want that one. So do you have isopods here?
Yes, I do. And
Oh.
we have one of the only touch tanks in the world that I know of for
Amazing.
isopods. So if we want to stick our hands in there, and if you hold them real still, these little fish will come actually to your hands and take it off.
Are these the same fish they use for the pedicures?
I don't think so. These are our saltwater mollies.
Yeah, those are Gararufa,
Yeah.
little freshwater fish.
Let's see if they. This is a trick because it makes your children hold very still. Well,
Is that why I'm doing it?
yep.
I was going to say, even with the tide coming through and raising up and dropping half a meter a day, you still have life support here.
Yeah. So certainly in the canal system, it's predominantly just aeration, making sure that the dissolved oxygen is high. But for any of our tanks and any of our systems, we're running life support through our tanks, and we're doing a turnover anywhere between 60 minutes and 90 minutes typically.
Nice.
And polishing the water. But we have something really unique here. So our groundwater is actually salt water, and it's
All right.
it's saline at 35 parts per thousand, just like the ocean.
Yeah.
So it's completely anoxic. It does have some sulfides and stuff in it that we have to air off. We degas it, and then we'll run that through into our main tanks. And what that does is it acts for geothermal for us. So the water comes out of the ground at about 26 degrees C.
Yep.
And so that helps us with not having it be too warm in the summer, because we'll get up to 34 on the nearshore water here.
Right.
So it gets really warm, and that can start causing stressors on the fish. We're able to stay at about 28 or so, and then it might drop down to 24, 22 in the winter time, but it'll be as cold as 14 on the nearshore water. So we still have that seasonality,
Yeah,
but we're
yeah.
able to moderate it, and it really helps the animals. So
That saltwater groundwater
yeah.
is fairly stable. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Our reptile area, we call it our Everglades area. We do have a few turtles and tortoises that were given to us.
And the furry turtle.
Oh, yep, that's a furry turtle there that you may have seen earlier in the. But different turtles and tortoises where we do feeds. You can purchase turtle food, and we have alligators and all that stuff. And a lot of these pond turtles are ones that you would find in the local canals in South Florida.
Yeah. Are these tortoises native as well?
No, these are not. These guys are sulcatas, so they are African tortoises,
Oh,
third
okay.
largest tortoise. But I do have a local species, the Florida box turtle. That's a full-grown one pretty well. And they have that hinge there that allows them actually to suck all the way in, so you can barely see.
That is so cool.
Just adds a little bit of extra protection. And so these guys are local Florida turtles, and they're also actually in the Florida Keys. So there's not a lot of fresh water down here. It's a pretty harsh environment for a lot of animals, but these guys do quite well down here in this environment. So,
Awesome.
So we've talked about all the things your kids would like. This is certainly one of the favorites.
Here we go.
And I like to ask the kids if they like to eat their veggies, because our turtles love to eat their veggies.
Thanks. There we go. Some for the little guy. Oh, not you.
Yeah. I think we've discussed before, nature is a tough place.
Yeah.
High competition.
I'm trying to help that little guy out, but he's
He's struggling. That's why he's a little guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is really popular with the kids.
There he goes.
Freshwater fish tank. It's a kind of a lot of once again what you would find in the local canals and ponds down here, including peacock bass, Florida gar in there, some bluegill. Alligators are piled up in the sun. So South Florida is kind of cool because it's the only place is the Everglades where you can find alligators and crocodiles together.
What in the world?
Yep.
Oh wow. So I had to learn yesterday what the difference was, but it's pretty much alligators are predominantly freshwater, right?
Yes, correct.
And they have the bigger, rounder beak on the nose.
Yep, that's correct.
And the crocs are salt and fresh.
That is correct, yep.
Cool. Well, I'm glad I learned something.
There you go, you got it right, yeah.
Is there a size difference as well between the two?
Not necessarily. They'll both get quite large. I think a saltwater croc will get larger, but a really big alligator will get in excess of 14 feet and well over 1,000 pounds.
Wow.
So
They're just
What?
yeah, a big.
14 feet, 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, and I didn't go metric there on that.
Yeah,
I should have done
that's
that.
because it's big numbers.
Right, yeah. They say that our crocodile isn't nearly as nasty as the ones in the Nile or in Australia as far as eating people, so that's good.
Okay. Well,
So we've
that's
got
nice to
friendly
know.
crocodiles in the Florida Keys. Look a little bit more nature, right? So everything about the aquarium is in the trees and in nature as much as we could make it. So here's a little salts pond area, and we just
Yeah, I mean,
just saw an ibis fly by there.
Yeah. As far as aquariums go, to me it seems that it's not really an aquarium as such in the traditional sense. You are still in nature with all the animals in the wild. It's just they're here and you get to access them rather than having to search around out in the mangroves for them. And
Right.
that is a really unique experience for anyone who would want to come here.
It's one of my favorite things about the aquarium is the amount of nature that we have around us, right?
Yeah.
And how peaceful it is. And if you look far enough off, you can see a great white heron over there in the.
Yeah, loads of tiny little baby fish in there
Lots of fish. Yep, and there, of course,
on the edge.
all those wading birds are in here eating all of that
Yeah.
stuff, and they come in on a different. All right, you want to go look at the big tank?
Yeah.
That's what. Let's go do that, and then we'll get to your isopod touch tank too while we're at it.
Yes. So what do we have here?
So this is our coral reef tank, and our coral reef and predator reef tank are one system together, and it's about 200,000 gallons. This is the side that you can actually get into the water and swim with all of these guys and feed them. So we have cow-nosed rays
Wow.
and all the local species that you would find here in the Florida Keys. This is our premium experience, and you can kind of see in the background there's a little bench there, and that's what that bench is for. So if you're
Oh,
just
yeah, I
a
see it.
guest coming to Aquarium Encounters with your family and you want to go snorkeling in this tank or even diving with a regulator in this tank, we have systems to do that. And it's it's our most immersive experience. It's the most incredible experience that people have. And one of the really cool things is you feed the fish on this side, but on the predator side, there's actually a window that separates the two tanks with a hole in it.
All right.
You put a piece of fish through, and a shark will come by and eat a piece of fish right out of your hand. So it's an incredibly safe way to get this close to sharks.
Yeah,
And
that's awesome. I mean, I've fortunately had the opportunity to dive in an aquarium before, and as an aquarist, you know, you're always armpit deep. But
Yeah.
I've never worked in a public aquarium. Doing that experience was just so awesome. So I can totally get that people would want to come here just for that. That is pretty cool, man.
It is a great experience. Pygmy seahorses, so you can see them. They're quite small.
Yeah.
They're full grown. Yeah, and there's a little magnifier for you to look through. There you go. The predator reef side. We've got 3 different species of sharks in here. The plumbeus, or the sandbar shark. You see the big ones there.
Yeah.
And then there's a nurse shark in here, and there's a couple of black noses, Acronotus. That little guy right there is actually a full-grown shark. They only get about a meter two.
Yeah, they're cool.
Big black groupers, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, nice
Rays.
big porky puffer.
Yep, big porcupine puffer, lots of jacks. There's your female black nose, so that's a big one. We're turning it over about every hour and polishing it and using ozone and all the things that every aquarium does. And we'll go take a look at the life support systems as well.
Yeah, cool. And as well as turning it over, what's the water change percentage? You dump in a certain amount per day, or is that just for your backwash?
It's about 10%.
Okay.
It's about 10% a day.
Yeah.
That's coming through for the temperature control. So it actually is
yeah,
about 10% of that dumping through, and then it goes out into the island from there.
So you practically have no chilling then, because you can use the water?
None at all.
Amazing.
Yeah, it really saves us a tremendous amount on electricity and our carbon footprint.
He's the boss.
Boss over the sharks and everybody. It's amazing.
Yeah. They're unsuspectingly badass.
Uh-huh.
So what can you tell us about this guy? He is absolutely huge.
So yeah, he's about 6 or 7 kilos. The average lobster that our commercial fishery takes is somewhere around 600 grams. This is a really large specimen, and we've had him here for about 5 years. He's added about 2 kilos since he's been with us. So every time he molts, you know, he adds a few hundred grams.
How often do they molt? Once a year?
Once to twice a year.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. What do we have down here? There's no water in it at the moment.
Yeah, so we've got an empty tank, and that's actually really good news. So this is our manatee rehabilitation tank. So one of the things that we do at Aquarium Encounters is we help with our manatee population in the state of Florida. And if there's an orphaned or an injured manatee, we'll bring them here and we'll help stabilize them and grow them up and then re-release them. So a couple of months ago, we released 2 males, 2 boys that were about 2.5 years old, at about 700 pounds each, which was great. They eat 100 pounds of lettuce every day each.
That's
when they're really
crazy.
going at it. Yeah, it is. But we're the only manatee rehab facility in South Florida right now, so we're pretty important. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And do you get manatees out in the bay here?
We do. Boat strikes can be a big part of the issue, but also sometimes the babies will get left, and we don't know if that's because the mother was potentially struck or what happened. So, so when we have orphans, we'll bring them in and take care of them.
Oh wow, that's really, really cool.
It's good.
Well, hopefully it stays empty for a while,
Yeah.
but no doubt you're going to see one at some point. Ben, if you don't mind me asking, how, if you're doing 100 kilos of lettuce a day and obviously running this system, how is that funded?
Yeah, so I think it's one of the missions that our aquarium has. So we fund it ourselves in-house.
Oh, so all of that cost is covered by you and the entry fees?
That's correct, yeah.
That's really
so
awesome.
it's one of our ways to give back to our ecosystem, to our local area, taking care of animals in need. So it's just one of the things we do. This is a really important initiative for us, as well as some coral restoration work that we
as
take
well
care
as
of.
nature,
Of course.
If it wasn't for you guys doing it, who else is going to do it?
That's right, yeah.
And I think a lot of aquariums sometimes struggle to get that information out to the public, that actually they're here to do good for the animals in the wild. They're not here just for people to go and have a look at,
I think if you were to look at most aquariums' missions, it's to educate people so that they care about the things that are in their community of animals that they have.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's a public aquarium out there that isn't doing something similar to this.
No, I totally agree.
With whether it's seals or fish or cold stunned turtles or whatever. Aquariums around the world are always doing something positive for their local environment and those local species.
Yeah. So you should go and see them.
This is the grand finale tank
Yeah.
for aquarium nerds like me and you.
Yeah,
So,
and I already knew you guys had these before I come here.
You did,
and
huh?
I've never seen one, and let alone had the opportunity to pick one up. So can I go in there and
that's what
give
it's
them a cuddle?
That's what it's for. It's a touch tank. So
There we go.
a deep sea giant isopod.
Wow, look at that.
And so the most amazing part of that is that you can keep your hand in that water and it's like 10 degrees.
Yeah, it's not. Well, to be honest, this is a bit like home.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, buddy. Look at him go. Wow, that's cool. There you go, mate.
Something out of
I have to take my hand out now because
yeah, it's a little
getting
cool.
cold.
Pretty amazing, wild looking animals.
Yeah. So what can you tell us about the isopod?
So the cool thing about the isopod is this crab that you see right here is actually a golden crab, and this is the commercial fishery that they come out of. So let's see if we can get him so we can show him to the camera. So this is an edible crab. What happens in the traps is the isopods come out of there, and so they're fishing for these in like 600 meters.
Yeah.
So quite deep where the water's quite cold. And when they bring them up, there's some isopods in there, and that's how we get them.
So these guys are what, hitchhiking on the crabs?
No, they're in the trap because they're looking
sorry.
for the bait, right?
I got
so
you.
the thing I would say is between those two animals, if you go deep sea fishing and somebody puts concrete boots on you, that's what eats you at the bottom of the sea.
Yeah.
And so designing this tank was a little bit of a task, obviously, to make sure that people don't pull them out of the water and stuff like that because they can't handle the warm. So that's why we have the holes cut in, and you can handle them in the water. So.
And also the temperature makes it nice that people don't handle them too much because it is pretty cold in there now. My hand is freezing.
It's a little bit cool. All right, let's go show you my coral tree and my coral wall real quick. Standing right here, basically. So nothing around there, and like 54, 57 is when that was taken.
Cool, so this looks like a coral farm if it was in the water.
That's correct, yeah. So a great way to display what we're doing in the Florida Keys to help restore our reefs. So this is what a coral tree might look like with different species of corals on it. And once again, we talked about some of the good that we do at aquariums. We work with Reef Renewal USA. If you want to read about it, we've got really large signage about it. And if you want to dive deep into it, you've got more information over there. So just tells the public a little bit about what we're doing and what's happening on our reefs out in the Florida Keys.
And would you do multi-species on the trees like this, or
you can do multi-species? This is more of an example. You wouldn't typically see a tree exactly like this. This shows you a little bit of everything. So often it'd just be staghorn coral or elkhorn coral or boulder corals. So typically you'll have one species, often multiple genotypes of that species on a tree, but this is kind of a representative of all the different opportunities that you might see on a tree.
And how do you manage the genotype situation? Are you literally getting each one checked for their DNA and seeing if it is a different species?
So they're doing that, they're processing that slowly now, but based on any one that's collected anywhere, it's considered a different genotype of that species.
Okay.
Until it gets its genetic markers to know for sure.
So I wondered, obviously you don't want to end up just fragging the same thing and having one genotype out there.
Right.
And ending up with a monoculture.
Right, even if one might be really resistant to heat, it creates all kinds of other dangers that it wouldn't be for whatever the next issue that we might experience out there. Having at least 50 different genotypes of every species is kind of the goal. You take the card off, you pop it off the card, then you can cut that back up and you leave one brood stock, and you might get, 10 or 15 small little micro frags, and you put those here, and then you put them on there for 6 months or so until they cover over the micro frag. And then we'll take a little ball of concrete and put a ball of concrete out, and we'll put maybe 10 or 15 of the same genotypes all together. And within 3 to 5 years, all those microfrags grow together into one head, and it will spawn by year 5. And so something that if it were a single coral that settled out onto the reef that would take 30 to 50 years to get to that size and be able to spawn, we can speed it up to less than 5.
Awesome.
And that's the only way there's any shot of this working. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a big lift. It's going to take a lot of coral and a lot of people and a lot of effort. And the science is still new, and we're still figuring that out. Across the world, we're still figuring it out, right?
Yeah.
It's an interesting concept, but unfortunately, our reefs in the Florida Keys have been decimated, and our live coral coverage is at about 2% now.
That's
So it's just 2.
really sad.
Yeah, yeah. In my lifetime, I've seen it go from about 25% coverage to 2% coverage.
Yeah, it doesn't hold much hope, does it?
No,
But you're fighting the good fight, my man.
It's the only hope the reef has is for us to be actively engaged and helping Mother Nature. If we don't do that, you have to just throw your hands up and give up, because they're functionally extinct out there. They're so far apart that when they're broadcast spawning, that the gametes aren't getting together.
Yeah.
You know, so
Wow.
it's the only way that we can maybe give it a jump start and give it a chance.
Ben, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure coming around and seeing everything. Touching an isopod, that's definitely what I'm going to tell the kids about. But this is a really awesome facility. Wish you all the best. I think we've got somewhere else we can go.
That's right. You're not done seeing me yet. We're going to go over to our sister company,
Yep.
Dynasty Marine, and check that out and talk about what that's all about.
Cool. All right. Well, I think this is probably a long enough video, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much. See you in the next one.
Cheers.